Behind the bright lights and timeless music of ABBA, Agnetha Fältskog faced a disturbing chapter in her personal life that few could have imagined. At the height of her fame, the Swedish superstar shockingly found herself in a relationship with a man who would later be revealed as her stalker. The Swedish government had to even step in, as the man was banned from Sweden due to his obsessive behavior, only to return when the ban lifted, plunging Agnetha into renewed distress. Stay tuned as we uncover the startling truth behind Agnetha's dangerous entanglement with someone who should have been kept far away from her life. Early life. Agnetha Fältskog was born on April 5, 1950, in Jönköping, Sweden, to parents Ingvar and Birgit Fältskog. Growing up in a modest yet loving household, Agnetha was the eldest of two children, with her younger sister, Mona, joining the family a few years later. Her father, Ingvar, worked as a department store manager, and her mother, Birgit, was a homemaker, creating a warm and supportive environment for her daughters. From an early age, Agnetha displayed a strong inclination towards music, a talent that was nurtured within her family. Music was an integral part of Agnetha's childhood. Her father, Ingvar, was an amateur musician and a talented storyteller, often organizing family sing-alongs and small performances. It was during these moments that Agnetha's passion for singing began to blossom. By the age of 5, she had already composed her first song, titled Två små troll, Two Little Trolls, showcasing her early talent for songwriting. Her parents recognized her abilities and encouraged her musical pursuits, providing her with the opportunity to take piano lessons, which became a significant part of her upbringing. Agnetha's love for music only grew stronger as she entered her teenage years. She joined the local church choir, where her voice stood out among her peers. Her natural ability to convey emotion through her singing made her a favorite in the choir, and it wasn't long before she began performing at local events and gatherings. Agnetha's dedication to music was unwavering, and she often spent hours practicing the piano and perfecting her vocal techniques. She found solace in music, using it as a means to express herself and navigate the challenges of adolescence. At the age of 15, Agnetha decided to leave school to pursue her passion for music full-time. She joined a local dance band called Bernt Enghart's Orchestra, where she served as the lead vocalist. The band performed at various venues around Jönköping, and Agnetha quickly gained a reputation for her powerful voice and captivating stage presence. Despite her young age, she was determined to make a name for herself in the music world. Her time with the band allowed her to gain valuable experience as a performer and helped her develop the confidence needed to take her musical ambitions further. During this period, Agnetha also worked as a telephone operator to support herself financially while pursuing her dreams. Balancing her job and her commitment to the band was challenging, but her passion for music kept her motivated. Agnetha's drive and determination were evident to those around her, and she continued to write her own songs in her spare time, drawing inspiration from her personal experiences and emotions. Personal setbacks and challenges in the Swedish music scene. Agnetha's first taste of heartbreak would also shape her music. At 17, she experienced a breakup with her boyfriend, Björn Lilja, and the pain of that separation led her to channel her emotions into songwriting. It was during this period that she wrote Jag var så kär, I Was So in Love, a song that resonated deeply with those who heard it. The poignant lyrics captured her emotions so authentically that it became one of her first standout pieces, eventually catching the attention of a local producer. Around this time, Bernt Enghart, the band leader, saw potential in Agnetha's voice and songwriting. He decided to send a demo tape of the band to Carl Gerhard Lundqvist, a well-known record producer at Kupol Records. While Lundqvist wasn't particularly interested in the band as a whole, he immediately recognized Agnetha's talent. He offered her a contract, which presented her with a difficult decision: pursue her individual career and leave the band behind, or stay loyal to her bandmates. Ultimately, Agnetha chose to move forward with her solo career, a choice that would shape the rest of her life. In October 1967, at just 17 years old, Agnetha recorded her debut single, Jag var så kär. The song was released the following month through Kupol Records and quickly became a hit. By January 28, 1968, it topped the Swedish charts, and eventually it sold over 880,000 copies, a remarkable achievement for a young artist just starting her career. The song's success marked her first major step toward national recognition, though she was still far from the international spotlight that awaited her. Despite her initial success, Agnetha's journey wasn't without its challenges. After her debut single, she attempted to enter Melodifestivalen, Sweden's national competition, to select its Eurovision entry, with her song Forsonade, Reconciled. However, the song was not selected for the competition. This setback did little to deter Agnetha, who continued to focus on her music and refine her unique style. Family support and continued growth. Throughout her journey, Agnetha's family remained a significant source of support. Her father continued to encourage her, and her mother was always there to listen to her songs and offer advice. This unwavering support gave her the courage to keep moving forward, even when faced with setbacks or the uncertainty that came with pursuing a career in music. By the end of the 1960s, Agnetha had developed a reputation as one of the most promising young talents in Sweden. She had gained invaluable experience from her time with Bernt Enghart's orchestra, where she learned the intricacies of live performance and how to captivate an audience. Her natural charisma on stage and ability to convey deep emotion through her music set her apart from other performers of her time. During these formative years, Agnetha also faced personal struggles that would later influence her songwriting. Her brief engagement to German songwriter and producer Dieter Zimmermann in the late 1960s was an important chapter in her early life. Zimmermann had promised to help launch her career in Germany, but once she arrived there, Agnetha found herself unhappy with the material chosen for her. Describing it as horrible, she eventually ended the engagement and returned to Sweden, where she felt she could have more creative control. This experience taught her the importance of staying true to her artistic vision, even when faced with the promise of greater fame. Legal challenges and setbacks. In 1970, Agnetha faced a legal battle over her song Om Tårar vore guld, If Tears Were Gold. Danish composer Per Vibe accused her of using 22 bars from his composition Tema, a piece he had written in the 1950s but never recorded. The case dragged on for years, finally reaching a settlement in 1977, when Agnetha paid Vibe 5 million Swedish kroner. This episode highlighted the challenges artists often face in navigating the business side of the music industry, something that would become increasingly relevant as her career progressed. Despite these obstacles, Agnetha remained committed to her music. She continued to release new songs, each one reflecting her evolving style and experiences. Her work during this period demonstrated her resilience and ability to grow as an artist, traits that would eventually lead her to international success. Despite the immense success Agnetha Fältskog achieved during her time with ABBA, she struggled with insecurities and a constant sense of self-doubt. Fame brought her into the public eye, but it also came with the pressures of perfection and relentless public scrutiny. Agnetha found refuge in her music and the comfort of her children. This balance was difficult to maintain, especially during her tumultuous marriage to Björn Ulvaeus, her fellow bandmate. Their relationship, initially filled with mutual admiration and love, began to fray under the strain of their demanding careers and constant spotlight. Their marriage ultimately ended in divorce in 1980, yet despite their personal differences, Agnetha and Björn remained dedicated co-parents to their children and continued to work professionally within the music industry. As one of the most recognizable members of ABBA, Agnetha became an international beauty symbol, adored by millions around the globe. However, fame was not something she always welcomed with open arms. In interviews, Agnetha described dealing with severe stage fright, something that only worsened as ABBA's popularity soared. She once confessed, "No one who has experienced facing a screaming, boiling, hysterical audience can avoid feeling shivers down their spine. It's a thin line between celebration and menace. The cheers and shouts from enthusiastic crowds often triggered anxiety, making performances increasingly challenging as time went on. Fear of flying and a near-death experience on the road. In 1979, while ABBA was in the midst of a U.S. tour, Agnetha experienced a terrifying incident that would impact her life permanently. The group's private jet, en route from New York to Boston, encountered severe turbulence as it flew through a tornado. The plane was forced to make an emergency landing in Manchester, New Hampshire. This ordeal left Agnetha deeply shaken, and she developed an intense fear of flying. From that point forward, she preferred traveling by bus whenever possible to avoid airplanes. Her phobia significantly affected her willingness to tour internationally, complicating her already demanding career. A few years after her flying incident, Agnetha experienced yet another traumatic event in 1983. During a trip through Sweden, her private bus lost control and overturned. The crash was severe, and Agnetha was flung from a window. Miraculously, she escaped with only minor injuries. Reflecting on the accident later, she said, "I must have a guardian angel looking after me, as I've had such bad luck but survived." These cumulative experiences contributed to Agnetha's growing fear of travel and heightened her desire to avoid the stresses of constant touring and public appearances. The end of an era. By the early 1980s, cracks began to show within ABBA. The band members' personal relationships, including the marriage between Agnetha and Björn, as well as that between Benny Andersson and Agnefrid Lyngstad, had unraveled. These personal struggles inevitably influenced the professional dynamic within the group. In 1982, ABBA officially announced their disbandment, marking the end of an incredible chapter in music history. For Agnetha, the dissolution of ABBA represented not only the end of an era, but also the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter. Without the constant whirl of band activities, she faced the challenges of reinventing herself and moving forward in a life without ABBA. Although ABBA disbanded, the world's fascination with the group did not fade. In 2000, an offer came in for ABBA to reunite for a 100-show tour across the United States and the United Kingdom, with a staggering sum of $1 billion on the table. Despite the immense amount of money being offered, the group collectively declined. Benny Andersson stated, "It's a hell of a lot of money to say no to, but we decided it wasn't for us." The band members had moved on with their lives and had no interest in revisiting their past success in such a commercialized manner. In 2018, news of a unique ABBA reunion emerged, this time in the form of a digital avatar tour. The band members returned to the recording studio to create new music for the project. On Instagram, the group shared, "We all four felt that after some 35 years, it could be fun to join forces again and go into the recording studio. So we did, and it was like time had stood still, and that we had only been away on a short holiday. An extremely joyful experience." The reunion was unexpected, but it brought a wave of nostalgia and excitement to longtime fans. Aside from her music career, Agnetha also dabbled in acting. In late 1982, she made her film debut in the Swedish movie Raskenstam, in which she showcased her acting talent. Around the same time, Agnetha collaborated with Swedish singer and former ABBA backing vocalist Thomas Ledin on the song Never Again. The duet became a hit, reaching the top 5 in Sweden and charting well in other countries such as Norway, Belgium, and Finland. The song's success demonstrated that Agnetha still had the ability to capture audiences, even after ABBA's dissolution. The solo album, Wrap Your Arms Around Me. In May 1983, Agnetha released her first solo album after ABBA, titled Wrap Your Arms Around Me. Produced by Mike Chapman, the album was a moderate hit in North America and Australia, but performed exceptionally well across Europe. It reached #1 in countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Belgium, and Denmark, and became the best-selling album of the year while in Denmark. The album also did well in Germany, the Netherlands, and France. Notably, the single "The Heat Is On" became a massive hit, topping charts in several European countries. This album marked an important milestone for Agnetha, proving she could succeed on her own terms. Agnetha's next studio album, Eyes of a Woman, was released in March 1985 and was produced by Eric Stewart of the band 10cc. The album sold well in parts of Europe, peaking at number 2 in Sweden and making it into the top 20 in Norway and Belgium. Although it only briefly entered the UK charts, the album sold up to 800,000 copies worldwide. The lead single, I Won't Let You Go, achieved moderate success, charting in several European countries. Despite facing the challenges of being a solo artist after years of being part of a globally successful group, Agnetha remained dedicated to her passion for music. In 1986, Agnetha recorded another successful duet titled The Way You Are with Swedish singer Ola Håkansson. The song became another #1 hit in Sweden and Norway, showing that her appeal as a performer remained strong. In early 1987, Agnetha recorded the album Kom följ med i vår karusell, Come Join Us on Our Carousel, which was a children's album featuring her son Christian. The album was a deeply personal project for Agnetha, allowing her to share her love of music with her child and create something specifically for young listeners. The album was even nominated for the Swedish music prize Grammis in the children's category, highlighting her versatility as an artist. In the summer of 1987, Agnetha Fältskog traveled to Malibu, California to work on her 4th post-ABBA solo album, I Stand Alone. This project marked a significant collaboration as it was produced by Peter Cetera, formerly of the band Chicago, and Bruce Gage, who was known for his work on Madonna's hit La Isla Bonita. Released in November 1987, I Stand Alone performed exceptionally well in Sweden, where it topped the charts for 8 weeks and ended up being the best-selling album of 1988, with over 300,000 copies sold throughout Scandinavia. The album achieved global sales of around 800,000 copies, but outside of Scandinavia, it did not chart as impressively. One of the key singles from I Stand Alone was I Wasn't the One Who Said Goodbye, a duet with Peter Cetera. The single primarily targeted the North American audience, where it became Agnetha's second solo song to make it onto the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 93. The track also found success on the Billboard Adult Contemporary chart, reaching the top 20. To expand the album's reach, Agnetha recorded a Spanish version of the track for the Latin American market, titled Yo no fui, Quien dijo adios. Despite these efforts, Agnetha was reluctant to promote the album extensively. She refused major television appearances in West Germany, but did make a promotional visit to London in February 1988, appearing on The Terry Wogan Show. I Stand Alone would be Agnetha's third and, so far, final English-language solo album. Despite its success in her home country, the album marked the beginning of Agnetha's withdrawal from the music scene. Following its release, she took an extended hiatus from the industry, lasting an incredible 17 years. During this period, Agnetha chose to live away from the public eye, rarely making public appearances and focusing her attention on personal interests. She devoted herself to astrology, yoga, and horseback riding, finding solace in her secluded country house on the island of Icaro, away from the pressures of stardom, marriage to Thomas Sonnenfeld, and personal tragedies. In 1990, Agnetha attempted to find a new chapter of happiness by marrying Swedish surgeon Thomas Sonnenfeld. The couple preferred to keep their relationship out of the public spotlight, but despite their efforts, their marriage faced challenges, and they eventually divorced in 1993. Just 1 year later, in 1994, Agnetha faced a tragic loss when her mother died under difficult circumstances, passing away after falling from her apartment balcony in Jönköping. This event had a profound impact on Agnetha, plunging her into a period of depression. To make matters worse, her father passed away in 1995, adding to the emotional weight she was already carrying. In 1997, Agnetha entered a relationship with a Dutch forklift driver named Gert van der Graaf. Initially, the relationship seemed to be a positive experience, but things took a dark turn after Agnetha decided to end it in 1999. Despite their breakup, van der Graaf began to stalk her, showing up uninvited at her residence, which made Agnetha feel deeply uncomfortable and unsafe. The situation escalated to the point where a court had to intervene, issuing a restraining order against van der Graaf. He was subsequently deported to the Netherlands, but his obsession did not end there. In 2000, he attempted to return to Sweden, coming dangerously close to Agnetha's property. He was arrested and banned from entering Sweden again. However, in 2005, the ban expired, and van der Graaf was once more spotted near her estate on Icaro. These incidents were undoubtedly distressing for Agnetha, who had sought a peaceful private life after years of public scrutiny. After enduring the challenges posed by her personal tragedies and the unsettling events surrounding her stalker, Agnetha continued to live a reclusive life, focusing on her well-being and personal happiness. She immersed herself in the tranquility of her countryside home, where she embraced activities like horseback riding, which offered her a sense of freedom and connection with nature. Her interest in astrology and yoga also provided her with comfort and a way to process the many emotional hardships she had faced over the years. Even though Agnetha stepped away from active participation in the music industry, her influence never faded. The release of compilation albums like My Love, My Life kept her music alive for old and new fans alike. Moreover, her biography allowed many to gain a deeper appreciation for the person behind the iconic ABBA voice. The public's fascination with her life, marked by fame, talent, love, loss, and resilience, never waned. Post-ABBA, the retreat from fame. After ABBA disbanded in 1982, Agnetha Fältskog retreated from the public spotlight, seeking comfort in a quieter and more private life. The breakup of the band came shortly after the end of her marriage to Björn Ulvaeus in 1980, which left her dealing with feelings of isolation and despair. Despite the challenges, Agnetha attempted to reignite her solo career, but she found it difficult to replicate the extraordinary success she had enjoyed with ABBA. Her new music, although artistically fulfilling, didn't achieve the same commercial impact. This period of seclusion allowed her to focus on herself, reconnect with her passions, and seek personal peace. Despite facing these setbacks, in 2004, she returned to the music scene with a cover of the classic song If I Thought You'd Ever Change Your Mind, originally recorded by Cilla Black. The song marked her first major solo release in several years and brought her back into the spotlight. The reception was positive, with many praising her unique voice and ability to evoke emotion. This single was followed by the release of an entire album titled My Coloring Book, which featured covers of classic songs from the 1960s that had inspired her. The album My Coloring Book, released in April 2004, was a reflection of Agnetha's musical influences during her youth. It quickly found its way to the top of the charts in Sweden, staying at #1 for weeks. It also performed well in other countries, reaching the top 5 in Finland and Denmark, and peaking at #6 in Germany and #12 in the United Kingdom. Agnetha's rendition of the title track, which was originally recorded by Barbra Streisand, was noted for its vulnerability and depth. Critics praised her interpretations. The Observer highlighted that Agnetha's voice had not lost its magic over time, while The Guardian's Caroline Sullivan noted her ability to get under the skin of a song. Sullivan emphasized that although the album featured no original material, Agnetha's artistry brought a fresh perspective to every track. In 2004, Agnetha briefly reappeared for an iconic celebration tied to ABBA's roots, the Eurovision Song Contest. 30 years after ABBA won Eurovision in Brighton with Waterloo, a special comedy video titled Our Last Video was made for the interval act of the semi-final, which took place in Istanbul. In the video, all four members of ABBA made brief cameo appearances, thrilling fans worldwide. The video also featured appearances by notable personalities such as singer-actress Cher and comedian Rick Mayall, making it a memorable reuniting with ABBA at the Mamma Mia! Detroit premiere. In 2005, Agnetha reunited with her former ABBA bandmates at the premiere of the Mamma Mia! Musical in Stockholm. The show, which was based on ABBA's music, was a significant cultural event, and fans were delighted to see Agnetha and Bjorn attend the final performance together. This marked a rare public appearance for Agnetha, who had largely stayed away from the spotlight. On July 4, 2008, Agnetha once again joined her bandmates at the Swedish premiere of the movie adaptation of Mamma Mia! Held at the Rival Theatre in Stockholm, which is owned by fellow ABBA member Benny Andersson. Agnetha arrived alongside Annie Frid-Lyngstad and actress Meryl Streep, who played the lead role in the film. The three women even danced in front of thousands of fans, much to the crowd's delight. Later, they joined Benny Andersson, Bjorn Ulvaeus, and the film's stars for a memorable photograph on a hotel balcony. The first time all four members of ABBA were pictured together in 22 years. This moment was incredibly special for fans, as it demonstrated the continued bond between the former bandmates. In October 2008, Agnetha released a new compilation album titled My Very Best. This double CD featured a mix of her Swedish-language hits on one disc and her English-language hits on the other, covering her solo career from 1967 to 2004. The compilation performed well, reaching number 4 on the Swedish album chart and achieving gold certification within its first week of release. This compilation reminded fans of her extensive and diverse solo career, showcasing her musical evolution over the decades. In January 2009, Agnetha made a rare public appearance alongside Annie Frid-Lyngstad at the Swedish Rockbjörnen Awards. The two were there to accept a lifetime honorary award on behalf of ABBA. Their appearance was warmly received, and it highlighted the lasting impact that ABBA's music had on the global music scene. In February 2010, ABBA World, an extensive multimedia exhibition dedicated to the legacy of ABBA, debuted at London's Earl's Court. The exhibition featured interviews, memorabilia, and immersive displays celebrating the group's career. As part of this exhibit, an in-depth interview with Agnetha, filmed in Sweden during the summer of 2009, was included. When the exhibition was later launched in Melbourne, Australia, Agnetha recorded a light-hearted introductory video alongside Benny Andersson, which was filmed in Stockholm in June 2010. These appearances served as a reminder of the group's ongoing influence and the love people still had for their music. In October 2010, Agnetha attended yet another opening of the Mamma Mia! Musical, this time in Denmark, accompanied by her former husband, Bjorn Ulvaeus. Despite their past personal challenges, the two remained on good terms and continued to support each other publicly. Their appearance together was a testament to the bond they still shared, both as friends and as co-creators of some of the most beloved music of all time. In May 2013, Agnetha released a new album titled A, marking a significant return to the music scene. The album was produced by Jörgen Elofsson and Peter Nordahl, and it reflected a blend of modern production with Agnetha's classic sound. The first single, When You Really Loved Someone, Waro, was released for download on March 11, 2013, along with an accompanying music video. In Germany, the lead single was The One Who Loves You Now, also released on the same date. The album also featured a notable duet with Gary Barlow from the band Take That, titled I Should Have Followed You Home. This collaboration brought Agnetha's voice to a new audience and highlighted her versatility as an artist. The album performed well commercially, with officials from Universal Records in the Netherlands announcing that A had sold 600,000 copies within the first 2 months of its release. It achieved top 5 positions in several countries, including Sweden, Norway, Germany, Denmark, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Austria, New Zealand, and Australia. In the United Kingdom, A reached number 6 on the album charts, marking her highest ever chart position in that territory. A few weeks after the release of A, the album's success was bolstered by a special TV program made by the BBC, which helped the album reach the number 6 spot in the UK charts once again. In May 2013, the first single to be released in the United States, Dance Your Pain Away, was launched. The digital single included 2 remixes by Smash Mode, and the upbeat nature of the track resonated well with audiences, bringing a fresh and modern twist to Agnetha's signature sound. Return to the stage and continued success. On May 1, 2013, Agnetha Fältskog was awarded the SCAP 2013 Kai Gullmar Memorial Award during a release event in Stockholm for her album A. This album marked a major comeback for Agnetha after years of limited public appearances and was well received by audiences across Europe. Later that year, on November 12, 2013, Agnetha took a major step out of her comfort zone by singing live on stage for the first time in 25 years. This significant moment occurred at the BBC Children in Need Rocks concert in London, where she performed a duet with Gary Barlow, the event organizer. Together they sang I Should Have Followed You Home, one of the singles from her album A, showcasing Agnetha's ability to captivate audiences even after a long hiatus. On November 18, 2013, to further promote I Should Have Followed You Home, a music video for the single was shot, coinciding with the single's official release. Although the single had been released globally, the United Kingdom saw a slight delay in its availability. Despite the limited promotion, Agnetha's return to music was recognized as she received the Best Female Album Award at the 6th Annual Scandipop Awards in 2014. Additionally, she was nominated for the prestigious German 2014 Echo Award in the Artist Rock Pop International category, which further highlighted her impact in the music industry beyond Sweden. In April 2016, a new biography titled Agnetha Fältskog, The Girl with the Golden Hair by Daniel Ward, was published in the United Kingdom. The book detailed Agnetha's journey from her early days in Sweden to her global success with ABBA, providing fans with an intimate view of her life beyond the spotlight. The following year, in the summer of 2017, Agnetha reunited with her ABBA bandmates, Annie Fried Lyngstad, Björn Ulvaeus, and Benny Andersson, to record 2 new songs, I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down. Initially, these tracks were intended for an ABBA-themed television special, but plans soon shifted toward a larger, more ambitious project: ABBA Voyage and the long-awaited return. On September 2, 2021, ABBA made an exciting announcement via a YouTube livestream, revealing their upcoming virtual concert residency titled ABBA Voyage. Alongside the concert announcement, they also unveiled plans for a new album, recorded between 2017 and 2021. This would be their first studio album in 40 years, featuring 10 tracks, including the much-anticipated I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down. Both songs were premiered during the live stream event and were released as a double A-side single on November 5, 2021. The Voyage album was officially released worldwide on May 27, 2022, marking a milestone in ABBA's history. The group's virtual concert residency, also called ABBA Voyage, premiered in a purpose-built venue, the ABBA Arena, at Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in London. The show featured state-of-the-art technology, with digital avatars of the band members performing alongside live musicians, creating an immersive concert experience that captivated both longtime fans and new listeners. This ambitious project, years in the making, was a testament to the group's ability to adapt to new technologies while staying true to their musical roots. On August 23, 2023, Agnetha's official social media channels were updated with cryptic messages hinting at new music. This generated a wave of excitement among her fans, leading to widespread speculation. Just days later, on August 31, 2023, Agnetha released a new single titled "Where Do We Go From Here?", which made its radio debut on Zoe Ball's breakfast show on BBC Radio 2. This new release was a prelude to an entire album, a plus, which was announced shortly afterward, with a scheduled release date of October 13, 2023. This album represented yet another remarkable chapter in Agnetha's journey, demonstrating her passion for music and willingness to evolve creatively. Recognition and legacy of Agnetha's music. Throughout these years, Agnetha's contributions to music continued to be recognized. Her unique ability to convey emotion through her voice had made her one of ABBA's most iconic figures, and her solo career only added to her legacy. The release of A and her involvement in ABBA's reunion projects brought her talents to new generations, reaffirming her place in the world of pop music. Her enchanting voice and heartfelt lyrics continue to inspire countless artists, reflecting her influence that transcends genres and generations. The two new ABBA songs recorded in 2017, "I Still Have Faith in You" and "Don't Shut Me Down," initially sparked interest as part of a planned TV special. However, as the years went on, it became clear that these songs would form part of a much larger project. Agnetha, who had long avoided the public eye, returned to the studio alongside her former bandmates, demonstrating their shared passion for music and commitment to reconnecting as a group. The journey to creating ABBA Voyage was not merely a reunion. It was a celebration of their shared history and an acknowledgement of the impact they had made on the world of music. Agnetha's journey has been one of incredible resilience. Despite the many challenges she faced, personal heartbreaks, the pressure of immense fame, and the complexities of life beyond ABBA, she remained dedicated to her passion for music. Her ability to make a successful comeback, not just once but multiple times throughout her career, speaks volumes about her talent and strength. Her collaboration with Gary Barlow at the Children in Need Rocks concert and her subsequent releases demonstrated that her artistry had not diminished even after years away from the industry.